Raptors have now won 3 consecutive games as they welcome in the San Antonio Spurs to Scotiabank Arena, and they win 129-104. And they've now, like I said, won 3 consecutive games, and they're now 17-17 on the year. The first time they've been 500 since they were 7-7. And remember that stretch, guys, early in the year when they had that 5-6 game win streak, whatever it was, put them above 500 by a few games, are feeling great. Then the downward spiral happened. They hit that 7-7 mark, and then it was downhill from there. So the Raptors have not been 500 since then. It feels like many moons ago that they were above 500, but they're back. Also, with the win today, the Raptors' home record is now 10-10. Remember when the start of the year, the Raptors' home record was abysmal. They could not do anything on their home floor. Remember they started the year like 5-0 on the road and they couldn't do squat at home? Well, now they're 10-10 on their home floor. The last 3 games without fans, of course. But pretty wild stuff. The record for the Toronto Raptors kind of turning around here a little bit. But you are getting some help from the COVID bug, of course, as San Antonio gets hit again. Or I guess another team getting hit, facing the Raptors, but San Antonio the next victim, as Doug McDermott, Lonnie Walker, and DeJounte Murray did not play in this game tonight because of COVID-19 protocol. So, everything favoring the Raptors here, so you got to go out there and you got to do a job. And the Raptors did just that. Now, it did take them a little bit to get going, though. In that first quarter, they struggled early on. At one point, San Antonio had like a 7-8 point lead, and maybe, I think it was something like that. Might not got that high, but either way, they had an all right lead. And the Raptors, to close the first quarter, they did it strong. They closed a big time. They had a big time close to that first quarter. They ended up winning the quarter 30-29, and you're up by 1 after 1 quarter of play. But what are you going to do in that second quarter? Are you going to keep that momentum rolling to halftime, or are they going to turn things around? Well, no. The answer is the Raptors continue to roll, and they win that second quarter 38-24. Remember in the last game we talked about the Raptors having a 40-point quarter? They had a 38-24 quarter in the second, and they just dominated. Now they're up by 15 at the break. So I think it was the last game. They had the 11-point lead at the break. They have a 15-point lead at the break. These leads at halftime are great, but how are you going to come out in the second half? Are you going to lay a beat down on them and show them, hey, show them what's up? Or are you going to allow them to crawl back into it? Well, the Raptors, it's kind of even match there in that third quarter. Both teams kind of going bucket for bucket, little run for little run. But Raptors do win that quarter 29-28. And they're up by 16 going into the fourth. And in the fourth quarter, the Raptors are like, all right, enough of this nonsense. Lay the hammer down. And they did. 32-23 in that quarter. And they win it by 104. All right? Let's get to the player stats. There's lots of things I want to discuss. First things first. OG Anunoby struggled early with the shot, did find it in the fourth quarter, however. Ended up with 14 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists on 5 of 14 shooting. It was 2 of 8 from three-point range. Both of those threes came in the fourth quarter. Did have 2 steals go along with all that stuff for OG. He's still trying to find his way coming off the COVID protocol. But again, early, remember when I told you about I think it was after the first game back, I said, look, remember this guy was out for a while with an injury? Then he came back for 1 game. Then the Raptors went in COVID protocol. So it's like, he has not played a lot of basketball lately. So for OG, it's going to take a little bit of time to get him going again. But hey, I'm totally fine with waiting for the young fella because there's so many other guys rolling. Gary Trent Jr., the next guy. Remember we talked about in the last video, guys? How it felt like a weird game for Gary Trent. Got in foul trouble early. Ended up fouling out in the game. Ended with 10 points. Didn't shoot a lot because he was, I think he had 12 shots because it was in foul trouble. And so it was a weird one. So today, he's like, all right, I'm not going to let these fouls pile up. I'm going to get some buckets early. Ended the game with 21 points and 3 assists on 8 of 16 shooting, 3 of 9 from three-point range. Had a couple steals in the game. And he got a lot of buckets early. At least, I can't remember exactly what the number was, but it was at least 6 or 7 in the first quarter alone. He was dialed in early in this one. I think he drained like the first 5 or the first 5 of the first 10 or some stupid number like that. He did a really, really good job, did Gary Trent Jr. early on in that first quarter, getting the ball rolling for the Raptors because early in the game they weren't going. So Great job for Gary Trent. Scotty Barnes gave us a flash of kind of some Draymond Green-esque type of stuff. 11 points, 9 boards, 8 assists. Not overpowering with the offense, but giving you literally everything else. Only shot 4 of 7. We want him to shoot more. I get it. 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Had a steal and a block, did Scotty Barnes. And, he was efficient. Over 50% shooting. He was 2 assists and 1 rebound away from a triple-double. Scotty Barnes is doing things to help your team win. And that's what I love about the kid, right? He's not selfish. He wants the ball, of course, but he's not afraid to give up the good pass, the good look to get the great look. And that's the great thing about Scotty Barnes. Team player, and man, oh man, does he have a good basketball IQ. And that's so huge for a young player coming in the NBA. Now, let's get to the 2 key guys, the 2 highest paid players on the Toronto Raptors, Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Let's start with Spicy P. Because this is now his 3rd consecutive double-double. He had 18 points, 12 boards, and 5 assists again. I mean, this guy's dialed in. And offensively, have you noticed the 18 he had today? He did shoot 7 of 13 from the field, and he was 2 of 2 from 3. So a very efficient game for Pascal Siakam. And the reason I say that is it's a lot of off-ball stuff. Are you seeing a lot of ISO ball for Pascal? Not really. I'm watching a lot of these buckets for him, and I'm like, look, they're in the paint for the most part, other than the 2 threes. And they're at the basket. They're slams. They're lay-ins off a great feed or a nice cut from Pascal. Or, he's doing really well without the ball. And that is showing us Raptor fans, he may not be a dribble the ball to the floor type of guy. He might be an off-ball kind of guy. Let Fred, let Scotty, let Gary Trent, let even OG, they move up the floor and Pascal moves without the ball. If that's the case and he's going to give us 18, 12, and 5 on over 50% shooting from the field any given night, I'll take that in a damn heartbeat. If this is what we're going to get from Pascal, he was phenomenal again today. Not forcing his shots, not forcing any offense, being hard on the glass as he has been lately, moving the ball, getting 5 more assists in this one. It's remarkable. It's remarkable what this guy has done since coming out of COVID protocol. I mean, are we seeing Pascal date back to pre-bubble Pascal? Quite possibly. Now, that Pascal was so offense-oriented, but I'm not seeing him force shots. I'd much rather him do what he's doing right now, and when the looks are there, you take the looks. If they're not there, because there was one play in particular at the end of the second quarter, if you guys can remember this one, where he's coming up the floor, right? And he's going right to the tin. What does he do? He stops up instead of running through a guy and allowing him to take a charge, kicks it to Gary, gives it to Fred, or was it Fred to Gary? I don't know, one of the two. And they knock down a wide open 3 late in the second quarter. Can you imagine if Pascal, forcing his shots as he would have early on, go at the rim, they get the charge, ball goes the other way. We obviously don't get a 3. But instead, he sees the defense collapsing in the bucket, expecting him to go up strong, and then he moves it to the wide open guys, and they get the extra pass, the hockey assist for Pascal, you get a wide open shot, you drill it, you got 3. It's remarkable the change that this kid has gone through over the last, couple weeks even, because the pre-COVID protocol stuff. It's remarkable what Pascal has done. You know what else is remarkable? Fred Footman VanVleet, man. I mean, this guy has been insane. Listen to this one. The last player to have 3 consecutive 30-point performances for the Toronto Raptors, Kawhi Leonard in 2019. Fred VanVleet has been playing out of his mind lately. I think there was one game where he shot like 7 of 20, so we're like, well, it's not the greatest. Today, 33 points, 2 boards, 7. He also had 7 assists, for God's sakes. Fred VanVleet doing it all in this one. 12 of 23 shooting, over 50% from the field. 2 of 2 from the line, 7 of 14 from 3. Knocked down 7 threes, was 50% from beyond the arc, had 2 steals in the game. Freddie V, on fire yet again, and really making his case for the All-Star ballot. And make sure you go vote for Fred VanVleet and all the other Raptors there for the All-Star game. Now, let's get to the bench, because they made an impact. First off, I got to give credit to these guys. Almost all of them, I think it was Birch, Boucher, and Precious, or Jonathan Champagnie. Maybe all 4. They were all plus players in this game. The bench has been abysmal this year. So to watch them go out there and not hurt your team, it's nice to watch. You know, Khem Birch offensively didn't get anything done, right? Couple points, 7 boards, I think it was, on 0 of 4 shooting. Not pretty. But the reason I wrote him down here, he had a steal and 3 blocks, and he was a plus 11. So yeah, he didn't make the shots. But he didn't hurt your team, and he was helping you immensely on the defensive end. So great job from Khem Birch. Precious Achiuwa, 10 points, 4 boards, 1 dime, 2 of 4 shooting. Got to the line quite a few times, was 6 of 9 from there. Had a steal and a block, did Precious. I mean, that's a great job from Precious Achiuwa, not forcing your opportunities, shooting 50% from the field, getting to the line, making some free throws, getting in double figures off the bench. You love to see it. Another guy who was double digits off the bench, Justin Champagnie. Look, a lot of people are high on this kid, and I am too. I mean, watching him play, he's a hard-nosed kid. Again, great basketball IQ. He had 14 points and 3 boards today. He shot 5 of 6 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. At one point, he was 4 of 4 from three-point range. He was on fuego in this game. Looking like that Paul Watson game, was it last year, a couple of years ago now, where the guy was legit, couldn't miss? I mean, maybe not to that extent, but a great game for Justin Champagnie. I believe a career high for him. So congrats to Justin and the double-digit performance from him. 2 guys off the bench in double figures for the Raps. Now, let's get to the team stats real quick before we wrap this up. They shot 43% from the field, 26% from three-point range, 68% from the free throw line. The Raptors, 47% from the field, 41% from three-point range, and 72% from the free throw line. So again, you know, discrepancies are there. The Raptors shot the ball a lot better than the Spurs today, and they won by 25, as they should have, right? Quickly, 20-12 in turnovers. Raptors doing a great job turning the ball over on their front, and the Raptors only 12 turnovers for the game, and that leads to a plus 13 in points off a turnover. So a great job from the Toronto Raptors this evening, and plus 6 in the second chance points, even though the offensive boards, I believe, were very, very tight. So major chances count. Great job for the Raps in this one. Now, next game, tomorrow night, as the Raps go to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. It's an 8 p.m. tip-off there. I don't know if they're dealing with any COVID protocol stuff, but either way, it's no matter what. There's going to be fans in the stands, and you're facing one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. You're not facing these shorthanded Knicks, shorthanded Spurs now. You got the Bucks. It's going to be tricky tomorrow night in the second night of back-to-back, but hey, let's see what this team can do, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the game this evening, smack the like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys not already. Comment down below. Thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from today's game today for the Toronto Raptors? The Instagram or Twitter link is down below, so follow up, send me a DM to that great stuff. The Instagram link is down below as well, so follow up there. If you have not done so already, I'll talk to you guys. Leafs edition tomorrow night as they're taking on the Edmonton Oilers at home. We're not sure if Matthews or McDavid will be playing tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see. No matter what, 7 o'clock puck drop there at Scotiabank Arena. And as for the Toronto Raptors, they play tomorrow as well. 8 p.m. tip-off in Milwaukee. Going to be a tough one on the second night of back-to-back, but we'll have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.